Look at the weather.
It's beautiful here.
Non-stop rain.
Oh, man, it is a blazer out there.
It's cold and it's shivery.
It is cold.
Really coming down here.
I really enjoy your weather reports.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we're talking weather in a whole new way. From historical events to what's coming up, plus weather news, science, safety, fun facts, and more.
I like where this is going.
This is Weather Weekly. Weather Weekly with Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
Episode 135, Weather Weekly. Good to be with you. I'm meteorologist Marcus Bailey with Wish TV in Indianapolis. Hope you're having a fantastic start to the week here. And hopefully you had a great weekend overall. Not bad. Did have to deal with some spotty showers on Saturday in the evening hours, and then a couple of pop-up strong storms Sunday afternoon. But all in all, not bad. We had numbers into the mid-80s. Humidity wasn't too oppressive. I say all this because things are going to ramp up, and they're going to ramp up in a hurry this week. I know a lot of kiddos are going back to school either this week or next week, but we're going to be kind of feeling like the heart of summer for sure. So if your kiddos have a couple of weeks off, the pool is going to be your best friend for sure. With some big time heat that's going to be expanding from the desert Southwest. We've been talking a lot about the high heat that they've been dealing with there. They've had 20 plus consecutive days of record-breaking heat, and most impressively, I think in the Phoenix area, they went about 3 weeks without overnight lows going below 90 degrees. Can you imagine going to bed and temperatures don't go below 90? That's pretty rough. And then on top of that, you're maxing out at 120 for highs. So some hot stuff. We're not going to get that bad, but that bubble of heat that's been kind of just bottled up in the south and west basically is going to expand. And so we'll start being tagged with that, at least a little bit on the outside edge. And we're going to start feeling that as we get deeper into this week. We will talk about that in the week ahead for the week of July 24th, 2023. That's coming up next on Weather Weekly. Episode 135 here of Weather Weekly, the week of the week of July 24th, 2023. This will be the last full week of the month of July. So the next time we talk, I guess technically when this releases, we'll still be in July, but we'll be looking ahead to the month of August. And a lot of things kind of showing signs of fall, if you will. I know some school districts, there's a handful of them that will be back to school this week. The Indiana State Fair will be kicking off on Friday this week. And Colts Camp will start off up in Westfield later in the week as well. So those are signs of fall. That's it. That's it. Because we are going to be a far cry from that as we go through the next several days. So let's get to it here as we head into first, your Monday, which is July 24th. I do think it's going to be kind of similar to Sunday. There's going to be a lot of dry areas and a lot of dry time. We're still trying to work this little upper level wave that did trigger a few isolated thunderstorms across our area on Sunday afternoon. We may see that again for Monday, really at any point of the day. I think the chances for rain are pretty low, but anybody that sees a storm, because there's going to be a lot of juice in the atmosphere, you get some heavy rain, you're going to have some lightning strikes. We noticed some hail. There was a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that dropped Sunday afternoon, and they were mainly hail makers. That certainly could be a possibility. I don't think it's going to be widespread, but again, maybe a storm or two reaches severe limits. We're going to go with a high of 88 on Monday. I think the dew points are going to start creeping up as well into the mid-60s. So feels like temperatures probably hanging out into the low 90s. You're going to feel that stickiness just a little bit. And so it's just each and every day this week is only going to get hotter from here, at least through the work week. Add to that, the overnight lows are going to be a little bit more uncomfortable as well as we get later into the week. So let's head into Tuesday, the 25th. I think we're quiet in the morning, a little bit more muggy, a little bit warmer. Overnight lows into the upper 60s, lower 70s. We're going to go partly cloudy skies, again, muggy, and a high of 90. And this is going to begin a stretch of several 90-degree days, we believe. Let's head into Wednesday, the 26th. Sunny skies, We'll start off quiet in the morning, a low down to 70, and I think, mostly sunny, a high of 92. Now, the thing is, when you get, so let me kind of explain. So what we have is we have a big heat dome that's kind of, that's been hanging out, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast, that's been just kind of hanging out in the desert Southwest, right? And it's been basically bottled up and confined to our west. So we've missed out on this for the most part. We've had our stints of hot, but it hasn't been kind of a longer duration. So what's happening now is you've had this kind of cutoff low that's been blocking things in the eastern portion of the country for a while here, breaking down. And so that's allowing for a couple of things. This ridge of heat that's in the southwest is going to kind of shift to the east, not a lot, but a little bit, but most of all, it's going to expand. And so we're going to be on the outside edge. So with that, we get a northwest flow in the upper levels. And we brought this up before. It gets you in kind of a ring of fire setup. And what that means is that you can get kind of these little waves that are going to ride on the outside of this ridge, all right? And so we'll see those kind of coming down from the Dakotas and Minnesota and Wisconsin and Illinois and then eventually in Indiana. And it could agitate things enough to spark some thunderstorms. The humidity certainly will be there. We're going to see dew points probably climbing in the upper 60s by Wednesday, maybe even in the low 70s by late week. So plenty of moisture. But sometimes you can be too hot to get these things to kind of get going here. So we'll see how things evolve. But and so when I say mostly quiet for the next few days, and I'm starting on the Wednesday, the 26th, know that there will be pop-up thunderstorm chances really each and every day this week, starting Wednesday. I think Tuesday's probably going to be dry, but Wednesday for sure, there could be some pop-up thunderstorms. Same thing Thursday, Friday. All right. But I think the headline here is the heat. So you'll wake up to numbers around 70, mostly sunny, maybe partly cloudy with some cumulus clouds bubbling up, a high of 92. And again, dew points are going to be probably into the upper 60 range. So you're looking at feels like temperatures mid at least 90s, possibly in the upper 90s for Wednesday. Hottest time frame is going to be Thursday, Friday. That would be Thursday is the 27th. You're going to wake up to lows around 73 here in the city. I think mid-70s are going to be possible, especially south of the city for the wake-up call. So that's pretty uncomfortable, pretty muggy. And we're going to go with a high of 94, mostly sunny to partly cloudy. Again, maybe a pop-up storm in the afternoon. Same thing on Friday. I'm going to go a high of 94 for the 28th after you wake up to numbers around 74. So Thursday, Friday, I think are going to be quite similar in temperatures, both on the front end and the back end there. And again, both days you could have an isolated storm kind of firing up there. Saturday, there's a slightly better chance for rain. It's not great. And it looks like, at least from the early indications, what we've been looking at, that it would be for the northern portion of the state, but obviously that's pretty far out as the time that this podcast is released. So things can shift a little bit. I wouldn't change any of your Saturday plans. We'll go with just a chance of showers and thunderstorms. I think it's going to be hot again. Low 70s when you wake up Saturday morning. We'll finish with a high of 90 on Saturday. And then not much relief on Sunday. I think it's sunny skies. We may dial back the humidity a little bit. So overnight lows Sunday morning into the mid-60s in the wake of this boundary that possibly could bring us some scattered showers Saturday. But still plenty hot enough. We're still going to be on that the outside of that ridge, that heat dome. And so Sunday's highs, I think we will hold into the low 90s. So the vast majority of the days here, we're talking 90-degree heat. In fact, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. And we could probably go a little bit beyond that as well in terms of consecutive days here. Just looking at the national blend of models, and what that is, basically it's blending all the long-term models together. It keeps us near that 90 range, at least for Monday and Tuesday. So the 31st and the 1st, kind of hanging out in the upper 80s, maybe sliding back to the mid 80s by the 2nd, which would be the Wednesday of next week. So that's a national blend that takes us to the middle of next week. Some of the ensembles like the GFS, I mean, there's just not much relief. I've got basically upper 80s through the 7th and the 8th which is the Monday and Tuesday. That's the following Monday and Tuesday. Now, by the 8th, it's got us back down to the upper 70s. That's a long way out. And the European has at least mid to upper 80s, basically all next week. And then by Monday, kind of bringing us back to the low 80s on the 7th. So again, that's kind of land of voodoo there. But I want to show you just kind of how long term maybe these above average temperatures may last. So get ready. Because these will definitely be the hottest temperatures that we have seen so far this year and the longest duration of hot that we've had this year as well. So several rounds of 90-degree days in a row coming. So that's the forecast here for this last full week of the month of July. Coming up, we'll talk about the new drought monitor. There was some improvement. We'll talk about some July stats so far. And, of course, we'll look to the 8 to 14-day outlook as well. That's all coming up next here on Weather Weekly. All right, let's put the wraps up on this one here, and next time we talk, we'll be able to put the wraps on the month of July. We're doing pretty good rainfall-wise, I'll tell you. 5.22 inches of rainfall so far for the month of July. Normal value, 3.32. That puts us at 1.9 above average. Last year at this time, we only had 2. So we're in really good shape. Since June 1st, and remember, June, we were well below average. Looks like we only picked up 1.41 for the month of June. Now, since June 1st, we're at 6.63. Normal value 8.27. We're still down about an inch and a half, 1.64 officially. Last year at this time, 3.19. We are in much better shape now than we were at this time last year. So good stuff. In terms of the rainfall, boy, we've been playing catch up for a while here. New drought monitor came out on Thursday of last week, and the update is good. It's not great, but it's good. We have now eliminated severe drought out of the entire state. There are still some counties that are included in a moderate drought. That would be kind of the western half of Marion, western quarter of Hamilton, all of Boone, all of Hendricks, northern half of Morgan for the metro area. And then that stretches straight west. So mostly all of Montgomery, all of Putnam, Park, Vermilion counties, and Fountain counties for the most part, all still under moderate drought. And then up to the north and west, you've got the Carroll County, White, most of Cass, and then you hit up in northwestern Indiana, up around Lake Michigan. South Bend still included in a moderate drought as well that kind of just rides along the Indiana Toll Road. And then most of central Indiana is just classified as abnormally dry. So, we go back to kind of when we started this whole thing and we started seeing those drought conditions building, and we started abnormally dry, which I stated that's kind of like a watch. And so we're kind of going back to that. So we still have a little bit of work to do, but we are seeing drastic improvement. And if we can, we don't need a ton of rain at this point now. If we can just kind of get some showers here intermittently in the forecast over the next several weeks, we're going to be in far better shape. So good stuff there. Was not looking pretty there for the month of June, especially because June's supposed to be such a wet month. But we've recovered nicely here in the month of July, which is good because typically August is typically a drier month. So is September. It's good that we were able to kind of play catch up. 8 to 14-day outlook. This would take us from July 31st to August 6th. Actually, it's a lower chance, kind of 30 to 40% chance for below average temperatures. And we kind of hinted at that a little bit. I think we're going to start maybe that first week off of August kind of toasty. But then we might get a decent little shift there by the tail end. And then the central and southern portions of the state in a near normal phase. So there's that. Precip-wise, no strong signals for either above or below. So near normal precipitation, which would be just fine. And that should continue to help alleviate any major issues. 3 to 4 week outlook, there's really no help there with the forecast. That would be the 5th through the 18th of August. Equal chances for both temperatures and precip. And the August forecast now out for the entire month. This was issued on July 20th. No strong signal either way for temperatures. Looks like just to our west, stronger signal in the Iowa and Minnesota for below average, and just down to our south, stronger signals for above average. But there are some signals maybe for some above average precipitation for the southern half of our state. So that would be a good thing because we're still a little ways away from harvest time. So as long as we don't get too much all at once, I'm sure a lot of people would welcome the rain here as we head into the new month of August. So that'll do it here for this week's podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we always appreciate you. If you have any feedback, we'd love to hear it. Send me an email, marcus.bailey@wishtv.com. You can also reach me on social media, Marcus Bailey Weather on Facebook and at Marcus Bailey on Twitter and Instagram as well. You can always get the forecast 24 hours a day on our website, wishtv.com/weather. And, of course, with our free Storm Track 8 weather app, and you can get my forecast on the TV side Monday through Friday, starting at 4 a.m. on Wish TV's Daybreak. While you're here, make sure to check out all the other great podcasts, all part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Have a wonderful week. Kiddos, if you're starting school, have a great school year. We'll talk to you soon, and God bless.
Discover more from Storm Track 8 Weather and Wish TV. Online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.